Hello. Today I had a very difficult experience and I just wanted to hop on and share a little bit about it with you in the hopes that it might help you to navigate something that's going on in your own life. So over the years I've had a very, very difficult relationship with my mother, and there has been a lot of abuse and neglect and abandonment, and also a hell of a lot of judgment coming from her. I never felt accepted, I never felt seen or loved, and I have done so much healing around this over my life, and I really feel like I'm in a much better place than I ever have been. And she's come to stay with me, and it's only day 2 and already there's so much coming up for me. And I realize obviously it's all for my highest good. And basically what I have been experiencing is a lot of judgment and feeling quite angry about it, really. So I've always felt like nothing I did was good enough to earn respect or love or validation. There was nothing that I could do as a child or even as an adult to be worthy of being seen and being loved. And really at the core of this is my own low self-worth, because we all know that any energy that we have trapped within us now needs to be shown to us in the mirror of the outer world, right? So you are paired up with a soul who will help you learn a lesson. And that soul could be your mother. It could be another close relationship. It could be a work colleague. It could be a sibling. But whatever energy is present in you will be reflected back to you. And so my own low self-worth was always shone back to me in my relationship with my mother. I never received any love, attention, and affection from her, or any validation. And most of all, I felt this judgment, this intense judgment of that she had for me, of me never being good enough. And I guess this is what's come up again on simply just day 2. So to prepare for her visit, and this would probably be familiar with many of you, if you have a similar relationship, this is something you've probably experienced. I spent a week blitzing the house, painting as many walls as I could, clearing out the rubbish, decorating, making the room nice for her, getting all my stuff out of there, all of that sort of stuff. And I actually got myself worked up to such a level that when it came time to actually fetch her from the airport, I misread and I didn't read the airport times correctly, and I actually went a day early. So I drove the 3 hours up there to the airport, waited, she wasn't turning up. Discovered, oh my God, I've come on the wrong day because I've been so stressed out. So this is just a small example of how wound up I get around her, even though, here I am, a woman in my mid-40s, and yet she still has so much control over me, even after I've done so much healing. And so the next day I went back to the airport and drove the 3 hours back there. Decided to stay in a hotel after I'd picked her up because I simply couldn't face the 3 hours return journey. And the following day took her around the city, showed her a few things, wore myself out trying to please her as usual, and came home. And of course now things have been neglected at the house because I literally can't be in 2 places at one time. And I experienced a lot of extreme judgment and criticism from her straight away. So about the state of the house, about the cleanliness of my kitchen, about the type of food that I cook, the type of milk that I have in my tea and how disgusting my tea is, all of these sorts of things, right? And I got extremely angry. And what I realized is there's actually still a lot of judgment in me. I am projecting my judgment onto her because what I was doing was, she had cancer very recently and had been very ill, had gone through chemotherapy and radiation and so on. And I had been very much against what she was doing because I believe in natural healing. And I had my own very significant health journey where I was bedbound for 10 years with chronic illness and multiple breast lumps, severe pain, a lot of really difficult things going on, in a wheelchair and so on. And I had healed naturally. And so I had hoped that I could encourage her to go on this healing journey too. And when she chose to go a different path, there was judgment in me. There really was. And I looked at it and I thought, what is this really about? And what I realized is, again, she was not validating me. So she was not validating my experience. She was not validating my journey. And I felt judged by her. And there was another layer to this. And that's me wanting to impose my will upon her. So wanting to impose what I felt was the correct decision and the correct healing path, instead of letting her go her own way. And so when she started complaining about my food and you know, not having the right type of milk because I'm vegan and so on, I exploded. And that was the hurt little me inside, who didn't feel validated, who didn't feel loved, who didn't feel seen. And I retaliated by saying, well, if you want to eat poison, you just go ahead. And this is what I came away from. When I looked at what was really going on, I thought, actually, I'm putting out a lot of judgment. Yes, she's judging me. She's judging the state of my kitchen. She's judging me and finding me lacking. I'm not good enough. But is that the case? Am I really not good enough? Or is my viewpoint just different to hers? You know, I know that I've put in so many hours to making it as nice and hospitable as I could, which is what I always did, but I always fell short of the mark. And is it perhaps that her standards are just impossible to meet and cannot be met, no matter what? Does that devalue me in any way? No, it doesn't. And that's just her issues. And I came back to a place of being very loving and open and asked the angels. I particularly asked Archangel Jophiel, and who is the angel of self-worth, and Archangel Shemuel, who is the angel of relationships, difficult relationships. And I asked them to come in and to assist me and to really help me see the situation clearly and know what the clear path was forward. And what I came back to was just love, right? Because when somebody feels judged, the first thing they do is they shut down. They become aggressive, they become defensive. You can't communicate with them. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to hear any of your ideas about, oh, well, if you want to, you know, improve your health, you do this. No, you know, none of that is going to work once somebody feels vulnerable or attacked and judged. And so the path forward is always love. And yes, she attacked me first, and this is a tit for tat thing. Why do we feel the need to score one up over each other? Why is it not okay to just know your own truth and to just stand strong in that truth? And so I knew the correct path was to go forward and actually apologize for my judgmental nature. And I did this. And I just quite simply said, I'm sorry for being judgmental about your diet. You know, I understand that it's difficult when you come to a new country and you're thrown out of your comfort zone. You can't get the things that you want and need. And I'm happy to take you to the shop to buy those things. And and just offered no judgment and actually offered love. And I just said, I don't want to fight with you. I love you, and let's make amends. And that was really the simplest path. Actually, I wouldn't say it's the simplest path. It was a difficult path, but it was the right path forward. And the reason I'm telling you all of this is because when we fall into judgment is separation, right? It is my way is better than your way. I am superior. I have more knowledge than you. I know what I'm doing. And my mother could say the same. Your kitchen is dirty. Your kitchen is untidy. Kitchens should be sanitary. I know what I'm talking about. This is just a simple fact, etc., etc. But the kinder approach would have been, I can see you tired. I can see, you've spent the last sort of 2 to 3 days with me trying to fetch me from the airport, look after me and so on. Let me help you. Let me help you with the kitchen. You're obviously exhausted. There's too much going on, instead of judgment. And I think this is what happens a lot with us. We get super defensive, and when we get defensive, we actually get really aggressive and we shut down. And so my invitation to you today is, there's always 2 parts to every situation. There's always something in it for you. Whatever interaction you're having with somebody else, there's always a teaching in it for you. And so my teaching today was actually, where are you still holding judgment against other people? Where are you holding this superiority? And is it necessary, and can you let it go? And so yes, not every instance is going to be your fault, and you're not at fault for every single part of every interaction. But there normally is some part of it that is your fault, that is your responsibility to fix, that is because of your actions and your beliefs. And can we be honest, and can we look at that? And can we work through that? Are we willing to work through that? Because that is what self-mastery and energy mastery demands of you, is being vulnerable, not being proud, and being able to work through things and release them. Thank you.